Hey, it's Doom from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit, one half the creative team behind DungeonsWag.com, and I'm back. And we have primed and base coated our planter, and roughly primed and base coated our plants. And we did add these vines. And how these vines were made is I just got some of that green floral wire. I put some gel super glue on them, and I sprinkled some flock on them because I realized we didn't have any vines for our pumpkins. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this stuff, we're going to paint everything, we're going to paint our planter up, we're going to glue stuff in place, and then we're going to dry brush those out to look like different things, or maybe we'll use some washes or speed paint or whatever we use, but we're going to do that. So let's start with getting a brush and finishing this. So that's kind of a big brush for the job. Let me get something smaller. Alright, here we go, something smaller. So what we want to do is we want to hit our bricks up. So we're going to get a medium gray. This pewter will do nicely. We're not dry brushing yet, we're just kind of changing the color of them a little bit. Don't hit every spot, you don't have to. But you don't want to get it on your dirt, so be a little careful. And you can really get as creative with this as you want. I made that brick kind of light, so I just wanted to make the outside of it a little light too. Hit it in those gaps a little bit if you can. If you can't, that's fine too. It's going to be alright, man. Now, we've lightened that up a good bit. We are going to do a real dry brush on that now. We're going to do that real dry brush. We're going to mix the tiniest bit of really light gray. Just drop a country gray there. You don't have to use country gray, that's just what I had. We're going to do a drop of this khaki. Okay. So we got a drop of country gray and we got a drop of khaki. We need a little bit bigger of a brush. We're going to hit this outside up with something really soft. And a makeup brush would probably be great for this. So I'm going to mix those together. Try to get as much of it off as I can. There we go. We're going to come around here. We're going to skimmy these. Just grabbing the tops and the sides a little bit. Nothing too fancy. Just to kind of clean those up. Alright, so now we got to worry about that dirt in the middle. And since this is already... Oh, that's way too big to use. So let's get this smaller brush in here somewhere. What I got over here. Here we go. We're going to lighten that dirt up a little bit. So let's grab some of this melted chocolate. That's really wet. Let me grab a different one. Let's grab this melted chocolate. There's a lot of inconsistency in these apple barrel paints. So some of the ones I buy are very watered down and some of them are not. So we don't want to wipe all the paint off. We're going to get a lot of paint off our brush. And we're going to lighten this up. Lighten this dirt up, right? Now the lighter you make your dirt and the more you dry brush on it, I warn you, it's going to look like dead dirt. So you don't want to go super big on your dry brush at the end here. But on this medium tone, you can go pretty heavy and lighten it up. And you want to leave some of that darker underneath. Give that illusion of different wetnesses of dirt. And I just happened to notice a little bit of spot there where I didn't get a lot of paint. So I'm just going to shove that in there. And then I'm going to get a couple other spots. I'm going to lighten that up. Get that around. Okay. So our dirt's looking like it's, got multiple layers of dirt in it. And I have this khaki I'm just going to get a dip of this khaki. A little bit. We're going to grab that. Make a slightly lighter tone. We are going to wipe a lot of that off. We're going to hit this with a hairdryer quick. And we're going to pick up some of this. Pick up a little bit here and there. Get a little bit more of that. Pick up some of these areas here and lighten them up just a tad. Okay. So now we have a good looking mix of different colors here. A couple spots that could be lighter. But we don't want it to look dead. We want it to look like healthy and good dirt. So we're going to hit this with the hairdryer again. Make sure it's good and dry. And we're going to do over everything with a makeup brush. We're going to do a light mocha. We're going to get us a makeup brush out. I hope this is dry. I used it yesterday. Yeah, it's pretty dry. Alright, we're going to do some of this light mocha. And then we want to get as much of this off here as possible. So we're going to bring up a dirty rag and kind of, here we go, get a lot of that off. We just want it to be the lightest ever. Okay. Let's get a piece of cardboard and check the corners. Still too much. Wow, I did not realize this was going to be such a large amount of paint, but that's okay. I make mistakes. Let's go up here and check the corner. Still too much. Wow. I didn't even dab that much paint on there. I wonder if this brush was damp inside maybe. Alright, come to the corner. That's better. Alright, we're going to catch some of this with that. Just I'm going to catch a little bit of the bricks too. Kind of tie that in, I guess. I don't really think I'm trying to tie it in. I think I'm just trying to add a little bit of an earth tone dry brush to that rock to make it look a little more. Okay. Good. Alright. We're done with that silliness. Let's get that in the water. Get that in the water. Let's come over here. And let's look at the condition our plants are in. So this was our makeshift head of lettuce. It's not completely dry, but that's okay. What we want to do is try to dry that off a little with the hairdryer. Alright, so we're going to need glue. I have some glue. We're going to snip off right at the base of it. Okay. We're going to get a little glue on. Can you see this? There we go. We're going to get a little glue on this thing. We can put it right where there was some paint. It won't hurt anything. Uh-oh. Alright, let's snip that off, no problem. Glue is sealed shut, that happens. Especially to me, because I'm sloppy. Alright, we snipped off our glue. Let's get a little pile of glue here. There we go. We're just going to get our forceps, our tweezers, I'm sorry. Dip it in the glue. Set it where we want it. Move it around a little bit. Get it just how we want. This might be easier to handle off of the base at this point. So let's take that off of there. Get that pushed down pretty good. Alright, so we know that a dry brush of green is going to bring that up. So we have these pumpkins. We're just going to, we have this hot glued, right? We're just going to get a little hot glue and put those in place. And we want these to be in ballpark close to each other, right? Kind of close to each other, not exactly on top of each other. We'll grab a glue. So that one's sitting flush, and I have that one just up at a little bit of an angle, so they don't look quite identical. We got our watermelon here. I'm going to snip that off. I'm going to dip it in the glue. Dip the little root in the glue. And pick a spot for that. Whoops. Something stuck to the paint. That's alright. Should have used forceps. We knew better. Same deal here. Snip off the bottom. Grab it, dip it in the glue, dip that tip in the glue of that vine. Put those there. Okay. Now we have unnamed plant number 1. We're just going to roll these leaves down a little bit. We're going to snip the base off. And if you notice here, this process is getting quite repetitive. We're going to dip in our glue, super glue, put it over here kind of by itself. It's a bigger piece. We got this piece here. We're doing the same crap. Get some glue, place it down. Okay. Stuff's looking pretty sturdy. I'll let it go for a minute. And we're going to look at our fake tomato plant. Alright. Didn't go great. We're going to hit it with not quite dry. Alright, with this one, we're going to actually cut that little ring off the bottom. We're going to get our glue, a little more glue. We're going to do something different actually. We're going to get a little dab of hot on there. We're going to stick that down and swirl it around for a second. Let that solidify. Get that in place. Then we're going to take a little piece of cardstock. We're going to dip it in our glue. We're going to paint that in place. There's a little bit of glue. Just get a little bit of super glue on the end of your point there. Rub it down along the stem, across the hot glue, and until it touches the paint job a little bit. And that's going to be shiny because it's super glue. But that's okay. When we clear coat this, that'll go away. So let's get our super glue. Wipe off any glue so we can get it back open again someday. Alright, so we're pretty much done with glue. I'm going to leave my hot glue gun in case anything pops loose. I'm not anticipating too much stuff popping loose. Everything looks like it's on here pretty good. Alright, before we put these last little bit of vines that I made on, we're going to do some little basic painting here. Let's get a piece of cardboard. Here, we'll use this cardstock. So we're going to want to lighten up our pumpkins. A little dab of orange. Small brush. Draw your brush off good. Just a little bit. Just lighten them up a little bit. What are we sitting on there? Make this one a little less, a little more paint on it for this one. Okay. Take a little bit off. A little bit more there. Got our pumpkin. Then we got our random orange plant here. We're just going to hit that a little bit, and we're going to come back with some yellow on this one too. With our tomatoes, I have a color that's actually called ripe tomato. And it's the color I used on the base coat of those pumpkins. And that big orange fruit there that's going to be a yellow fruit. Let's get that. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Leave it a little bit wet. Just touch the tops of those tomatoes. We're not going to need to dry brush those a bunch. Just touch those. Alright. Alright, so the watermelons would probably be best served with a dry brush of light green. But we also want to use a light green on our lettuce too. And on our other leaves. So let's see what kind of greens we can play with here. The first one I have is this limeade. And I've used this before. I can't think of on what. And then I have this one that's a little brighter than that called kiwi. So let's get this limeade. Wipe a lot of that off. Just lightly hit these watermelons. And then we want to kind of hit this this lettuce. We want to kind of stroke our way upwards with this and capture the fact that there's multiple layers of it. I hope you can see what I'm doing. Come up multiple layers of lightning. Then we want to hit some of our tomato plant leaves. This can be a little wetter. The leaves on our vines. For our watermelons, a little bit lighter. Just testing the waters here to see how that's going to look. Not great. Less paint might be better. Alright, less paint looks a little better there. So mine aren't going to be beautiful. Yours can be. Just make sure you don't overpaint those. I just want to come back around on these watermelons a little bit. I feel like there's not a lot of contrast there. Alright, so let's do something with this purple plant and let's get some yellow for the other. I have this Concord grape we can try on that purple plant and see if we can hit some high spots on that and make that look okay, right? Just going to get a little bit of that. Hit some of these higher spots that are plainly visible. And we're going to wipe some of that off and come around the sides and just kind of smear that around a little bit. So it has like a kind of more natural, organic, I'm not perfectly all one color look. Alright, what do we need to do? Yellow. What I have here is called Golden Sunrise. AKA yellow. Now mind you, I've been using a crappy brush and doing this whole thing with the same brush. All these plant high brush moves. So if you're using different brushes, you're going to get some different effects. But my brush stays a little damp, so I'm not getting a real good true dry brush on anything. And I want to come to this one here that I did in the lighter orange. I just want to kind of hit some of the higher spots. Okay. Alright, we're looking pretty good here at this point. A nice little modular garden. The leaves are a little silly and big on those. We could cut those off if we wanted. Let's see if we can't get a little bit of that kiwi on there. Put that tomato color away. Now this kiwi is really wet. So we're probably not going to be able to do anything too good with that. But what we can do is, since I don't like the way these look on this plant, I'm going to snip these off at an angle. Pull the glue right off. We'll have to glue that back down. Okay. Where do we put that glue at? Oh heck, look, I did it bad. Okay. I put the glue away, didn't I? I sure enough did. Alright, I'm just putting it over here on this cardboard. You can't see, just a dab. And get this, oop, get this back in place here. Okay. All right, everything else sturdy? Okay. Now the vines that I made, and like I said, this was just a dab of super glue gel, and I just sprinkled some of my like generic sawdust flock on there. And what I want to do with these is I want to make some vine. It's going to go on my pumpkins, okay? So you want to twist it enough where you can kind of get it up on your pumpkin and hide it underneath another one. We're going to get that super glue I just poured. We're going to get a little bit there and just a dab there. Get it up under that one. Try to center it on that one. Okay? So get it sort of centered there with that dot of super glue. Get it underneath that one to hold it in place. There's one of our vines. Same deal. A little super glue on that part, a little super glue on that part. Get it underneath there. Uh-oh, it won't go underneath there. Mayday, mayday. Alright. So now we have some more realistic looking kind of vines. And we're going to need to lighten this lettuce up. So let's see what we can do with this here. Let's get this yellow and this little bit of green we had and see if we can't make something light enough to do some highlight, to do some dry brushing. Lo and behold, it is a sickly, disgusting color. Just as I hoped it would be. I'm going to hit these leaves where I cut them off to cover up that little bit of brown. We're going to just dab this on the top part there. Do a little bit of that, and then we're going to grab this lettuce. Some of these higher spots. Oh, whoa! I knocked that dang thing I just glued in place loose. Try again. Wasn't even dry yet. Oops. Now, if you're worried about this not staying in place, like I am, what I would do is I would come in with a little bit of glue. Oh, this one's stuck shut. Man, can I ruin glue? Well, at least somebody did. Gel glue. It's all gel glue, man. It's always all gel glue. So we're just going to get this glue here. We made this amazing tool earlier. We're going to use our amazing tool. We're going to paint that on there. Get it in place and just paint it how we want it to sit. Right in that crack. Oops. As you can see, I have not perfected any of these techniques. That's alright. I've never made one of these planners either. So, haha. Double plot twist. This is just an idea I had based off of a mushroom and pumpkin planner I had done previously. I thought to myself, hey, self, this might just work. Alright, I'm feeling a lot better about it now. I'm going to give this the super glue a few seconds to dry. I'm going to clear coat this bad boy. We'll take it upstairs and get some action shots. Thanks for watching. I hope you got some ideas to do some cool crafts, or you learned something, or it gave you an idea, something you could do that you hadn't done. And yeah, that's about it. See you in a bit. Thanks for watching.